So, Cora, thank you. Moon, thank you. Laura, thank you. Can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for using your subs here. All right, let's get to this. So, well, first of all, we just hit 109. Wait. I'm going to look at these orders. So, exclamation point merch. Let's see how many orders we have. I think. Hold on a second. It's a lot. There's a lot of orders coming in. Thank you for that. We're going to get those out to you. Let's see. So it starts at 1,000. Most of the stream is just going to be me staring at the other monitor. We got a lot. It's like 120 some orders already. Unbelievable. Okay, the music's kind of distracting me. Okay, so thank you for buying the merch too. I appreciate it. So let's talk about Drum Show. So I want to kind of go through the whole process, starting from this right here, which is the treatment, all the way to kind of what you get to see on YouTube. Hopefully this is like kind of inspiring for people that are like, don't really know how the sausage is made, but are really interested. And if you are a professional, just know that I'm going to show you my pretty rudimentary ways, kind of not very professional ways, and I think it still works. So the way the process starts, is we start with this treatment. So I get the song, and I kind of just have to assign visuals to it. And this doc right here, this treatment, it has to. The whole purpose of it is to kind of go across anyone's desk, and they're able to understand 100% what the vision is. And so the idea is this one, actually, when I looked back through this deck, I kind of found that it was kind of lacking a little bit. It could have used a little bit more. You never want people to read this and kind of have to fill in the blank. So usually this one doesn't have it, but usually there's like Andrew Donahoe does one really well, which I didn't. Maybe I can find one of his later, and I can show it to you for like Jumpsuit or Levitate or Nico or whatever. He's done them for every video he's done for us. And he usually does timestamps with lyrics, and kind of so you can follow along, listen to the song through that section, go back, read what he thinks is going to happen, listen to the next song, part of the song, go back. So this is the first page. It's just kind of like, how can you intro the vibe as best as possible? So, and then you kind of want it to read kind of really well, right? It's entertaining. Like it's supposed to feel like some of the best scripts. Like if you read scripts for movies, they read like they're a published novel. Right over the top of my face. I'm not a Canva queen, but I do know a lot of directors use Canva. I just use Google Slides, Photoshop, and then bring them into Google Slides. The model of the minivan ended up being a Honda Odyssey, like a 2014 or something. It wasn't even that like retro. 2007? 2007, never mind. Video for Drum Show takes place in two locations. First, we see Tyler and Josh side by side in front of an old minivan with his rear hatch open. So I wanted it to be an old minivan. But one thing we're going to learn as we kind of make our way through this is that you kind of making a music video is all about pivoting. It's all about what can you get done, and how long can you spend trying to get the thing you wanted done before you need to just move on and get something done. And so we had like 3 or 4 weeks of pre-production for this. Yeah, you're right, Nino. Pivot. 2007 is not super retro. That's the year I graduated high school. I didn't graduate high school with floating skateboards and neon jackets and sunglasses and pumped up Jordans. I don't know. Maybe I did. Anyway, so we were looking for this retro van that kind of looked like in the bottom there. You start to put it together, put the pieces together that this is, you know, kind of what I'm thinking, just splattered on there in a good presentation. But we ended up going with this. We went to a couple different, like tow yards, I guess. And we just looked at what they had, and we needed two because one of them, spoiler alert, gets cut in half. So we had to find identical ones because originally our idea, we'll get to that also, is we were supposed to kind of shoot outside the van when it's spinning and shoot in the van and then also exterior in the parking garage. Anyway, instrument cables pour out the back of their ride and into their microphones and instruments and drums. Long takes watch the two perform in a two-shot, feeding energy off each other. So you look on the right there, there's that Drake, How About Now, I think is what it's called, video. And I saw that and I thought it was really cool. Everything was like these long shots and it was more like hyper stylized security cam feel, and you kind of just felt the room. And this is what that originally was going to be. It was going to be, well, I'm not saying I like love Drake and I'm stoked on it. Okay, guys, chill. I'm just saying I saw that video and I was like, this is a good vibe. I didn't tell Tyler. Shh. He probably would have said, no, I'm not doing this if he saw this, if he knew what that still was from. But he doesn't watch Drake content, so he didn't know what it was from. Anyway, the original idea was for these shots to be really long, and it was almost like a visualizer. It was supposed to be these long, cinematic, well-lit shots that kind of just sit, and it's almost like very Tyler, the Creator-esque type of thing. But the song just kind of needed more, and I feel like it deserved more. And we just got in, as soon as we sat down to edit, it just started to feel like boom, boom, cut, 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 cut. It just felt way better than just sitting there and letting it, just cook. And so this deck, I use Shot Deck. So this deck, this treatment, I use Shot Deck, which is a website where you can look up really well thought out metadata about different movies and TV shows and music videos to kind of get your vibe. And so even though we are never going to have Tyler standing there, we never had the van yellow, we never had anyone running from headlights, and we had no one like injured laying on the ground, we knew that this is kind of like the vibe I was looking for as far as lighting goes. And so when someone, again, reads this, Midnight, thank you for resubscribing. Bryce, thank you. Trying to keep caught up on this. Spooky Bree, Mar, Altenberger, thank you guys so much. Appreciate that. So you know, anyone from management to the artist, to your DP, to your producer, the more you give them and kind of like a bite-sized chunk, the more likely you're going to get what you wanted on the day. It's Pinterest for filmmakers, exactly, Spooky. The second location brings the band into the old beat-up minivan circling a rainy void as the distant streetlights paint light through the water droplets on the windows. Shots stay long at this as this video serves mostly as a visualizer instead of a full production music video, and we just did not do that. Bryce, thank you for gifting 5 subs. Unbelievable. That's a sub for everybody. I just can't. Every time I stream in the past, it wasn't this many people. It wasn't this engaged. It was always really fun and really good, but this is a whole nother level. So thank you all for being a part of that right now. That was a whole foot-long sub. You understand Tyler's vision of the song and what he thinks the visual should be by writing the song? Okay, so Nova, you're absolutely right. This one particularly, I just kind of went on my own and like kind of understood what the lyrics were about. Tyler told me the story about writing it for Josh and lyrically what he was expecting us to kind of cover visually. But this one's the first time since like probably Fairly Local, they were pretty hands off. the creative. Usually it's me and Tyler and Josh kind of tag teaming everything from front to back, from the conception all the way to the posting it. But this one was kind of like they just sent me on my way. So, which is really good and an honor because the contract was such a heavy hitter. We were on tour in Europe. I gathered like 6 to 10 directors, had them write on a song that wasn't even completed yet at the time, a different song that was like more of like an idea of what the song was going to be while they finished it up. And we got really lucky with Fred from Paris, who directed the shit out of that video. So I knew that this one needed to kind of be elevated. We couldn't really get away with the 11 Clancy music videos. Oh yeah. Yeah, when we get there. So, you know, the Clancy videos worked really well on their own, kind of consolidated into, you know, that world of Clancy, and they were presented that way. But this one was going to be very much on its own. So we had to elevate it. So I knew that going into that we also not only had to hit the lyrics, but also had to elevate this to Fred's level, and then to, you know, the next video's level, City Walls, elevating it, like knowing how big that's going to be, $1 million video. We couldn't just slot in some bullshit, you know? Lindsay, my fiance, was also art director on this. So like these also helped her kind of understand like what the windows were going to look like. Camera, you know, sets up the camera and the framing, you know, the lighting comes in, and the director of photography with the camera department kind of like light it as well. And Grip, they all see this, and they kind of understand the vision. So Lindsay comes in, no one else is touching the windows or the set or anything like that. So she needs data too. And so her knowing like what kind of lighting and mood we're going for helps her kind of not have to guess on the day. While driving the vehicle through the lights and rain, Josh lightly taps on the steering wheel to the track. When bigger hits are needed to carry the energy of climactic moments in the song, Josh turns up at the mirror and watches himself rip through his drum kit in the back seat. Shooting in a blacked out studio allows us to rotate the car, remove seats, break off doors, anything we need to get the camera in the right spot for the gag. So this page is doing a couple things. It's kind of showing what kind of frames we're looking for, and showing, you know, how Josh is going to be lit specifically. Speaking of Balu Brigada, did you guys see Hideo Kojima posted about them? Unreal. That's just like the highest compliment ever. Anyway, this page also does a thing where it's like it keeps that energy of the read, like you're thinking about the people reading it. You know, we're shooting in a blacked out studio, so it's like we've got that figured out, but we're going to shoot in the studio because it allows us to rotate the car, remove the seats, break off doors. You don't need to get super detailed with it. It's just like, what's that energetic kind of like you're telling a friend of yours that's like really loves you and supports you, but doesn't know anything about what you really do. Really, it's just like, oh no, dude, this it's gonna be sick. And like if you're hyped, it's gonna translate, right? Brake lights on faces, headlights behind, but we are too zoned out to see anything clearly. So one thing I was worried about, and I'm getting kind of long-winded here, so I'll try to keep this snappy. One thing I was worried about is my reference images. You could see a lot of the city in the background, and we couldn't do that because you'll see later that we were in a, like I said, in this, but you'll see later as well, we were in a studio. So I knew realistically, and talking to Alexander Elkins, my DP, and Nathan Bielski, my producer, they're like, no, we can't. What do you want to do, like LED back there? And so I had to add that line. It's like, you know, we're too zoned out to see anything clearly. And so that kind of gives us the ability, okay, so that can fall off into darkness. We don't need to see where the sources are. We don't need to see reflection of anything on the windows. When it's about time for things to get strange, the camera pushes through the front seats. So we didn't do this exactly like this is written, but the front seats as Tyler walks back and forth inside the car, an impossible surreal moment created with an elaborate gag. We cut the car in half. So this was the original idea. I'm actually, okay, Benji, I see your reply. I'm recording this and I'll upload it to my YouTube. I will upload this whole thing to my YouTube so people don't feel like they had to miss it. So originally, those captain's chairs were going to pull out on wheels and the whole thing was going to move. And this is me just pie in the sky, no limits, do whatever you want, sketch it up. This is what I sketched out at the Begin coffee shop down in Uptown Westerville. But it didn't really quite work out like that, but it was enough to get our gears turning. It's Josh Flintstone. Wait, Train to Busan was shot like this? I actually didn't know that, Joey. I am very familiar with the Flintstones. So anyway, so the idea was originally that Tyler would be able to perform from window to window while walking on the floor, but it just ended up not working like that. You'll see here in a little bit later. It just didn't work like that. So the rig lowers for Josh's coverage. This van weighed 1,500 pounds. Wait, yes, 1,500 pounds, almost a ton. So like having it go up and down, just no shot, But, pie in the sky. You can't let the limitations completely psych you out. You kind of just got to shoot for the moon. So that was the end of the treatment. Not very detailed, but I was able to make some boards from it, right? So this is the next thing. These are 4 boards. Shot 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. I showed you on Instagram my sketches. Those were just what I call thumbnails. So I'll grab coffee. I'll go to Begin. Every time I say Begin in Westerville, I get a free coffee. So buckle up, everybody. I'm going to be talking about Begin in Westerville, Ohio all night. Anyway, what's good about these, and I actually cut these together with the video, so in a little bit we'll actually see how these played. But you start to see the video and you start to feel the space. Specifically in 1A in the top left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see that I did some lighting, and Alexander Elkins, my DP, came up to me and goes, "Do you still want those like spotlights on them?" And this was like after I drew this like a week later. I was like, "What? No, don't do that." Just like, and I realized even though these are shitty as hell, people see it and they understand kind of like what you're going for. And so obviously it clearly looks like there's pools of light that are coming down from the ceiling. And I didn't really want that. I thought that was why red. Oh, sorry, I'm reading Bryce. Why red? Okay, we'll talk about the red. Are you talking about the camera red or the color? When I'm gonna let you work for me? I don't know. We'll see. Sorry, I'm trying to read questions as I go. I use Procreate to make my storyboards. And again, I start on pen and paper. On here. I start here and make my thumbnails. We start here. And then we go into Procreate on my iPad and kind of make these real life. I learned this from comic book artists. Jock, Raphael Albuquerque, all these comic book artists, Jay Lee that I look up to. They make these thumbnails. And they kind of just, okay, that's the ratio, that's how blah, blah, blah. And then they can draw the big picture. Obviously, they're a little bit more talented. Penguin, I'll get to that in just a second. Hopefully I remember. But you start to see it. And I even like put the foreground and background on different layers and add some motion or some Gaussian blur. And then, we're in the van. Tyler originally was going to play bass in the back seat, but it's just so limiting. It felt awkward. So you draw it, you try it, you got to be ready to ditch it. Can't spend any time. I will say we shot a day and a half, basically. So 2 days. First day was a half day pre-light in the studio, and then we went to the parking garage on the 1st of August. On the 2nd of August, we did all day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the studio, and we made our time, and we only cut like 3 shots. So that's another thing that you get good at is like, when you board, and when I show you my previs, you start to understand what you need to make the project happen. Um, and you start to learn like what shots to cut, what shots to move on from, what shots do you need. You can always reference this. So we have obviously Josh in the front seat, and this is that beautiful image. There's a beautiful image of him looking in the back seat. Amazing. But it's fine. OTS driving, and then the spinning car. So now we're going to take a second here. I'm going to pull up the previs. I'm going to turn it down, and we're going to watch most of this. And so what you'll notice is that images from Shot Deck, which is really fucking expensive, so be careful. I'm sorry, but it's really expensive, but it's worth it. I'm sure there's new options out there. There's a few of them, but I use it, and I love it. But you'll see that I put those next to the image. So let's look here. So this is, ignore the letters in the bottom because I renumbered everything. This was like version 1. You'll start to see, this is me trying to make the edit without the footage. This is me a week before, taking my files that I saved out of Procreate, put them into After Effects. And I'm just trying to see what the edit looks like. Cut to the wide. Sitting there for a long time. Detail the drums, playing the bass. The ooze, gotta hit the ooze. Next scene. This is a shot that we dropped, okay? I could not figure out, we did not have enough time, but it was supposed to be Tyler off of Josh's rearview mirror, right? Okay, so this goes through the whole thing. Hey, that scale's perfect. Josh's face is a perfect circle, okay? Straub Frog, thank you for subscribing with your Prime here. There's so many good places you can put it, but thank you for throwing it at this channel. Dawn of Jeremy, congratulations on your new morning. Sydney, thank you. Local Dreamer, appreciate it. I know that reference. Mushaw, Haley, thank you. So anyway, you get the idea. And also a thing I realized, I added camera shake. It's really hard to tell, but I added camera shake in After Effects. It's like, oh, we got to make the van move around. So when you start like, I always say, every time I shoot and get on set, I'm like, man, I didn't do enough pre-production. This is like kind of the first time where I felt like I did enough pre-production. Because when I got that shot into After Effects, heard the song next to the shot, I was like, wow, okay, it sounds kind of a no-brainer now, hindsight 2020. I was like, oh no, we got to shake the car. Like, we got to shake the van. Let's cut back to our wide, showing our lighting references. I always thought it'd be funny if Josh did this during this shot where he just like took a second to really just glam out there, rubbing his hand through his hair. I edited everything in Premiere. Farrell. You assumed it was Lindsay outside? No, he had a bunch of grips that were exhausting themselves. But everyone on set wanted it to work. So one thing I will show is that wait. This is a breakdown. So this is me and Lindsay's kitchen, and I set the stools up to be kind of like the back seat, which we ended up not using. And I just spun in my kitchen to kind of show everybody where that spin was going to happen. And that we're going to come back to this. And so you kind of take that information and you make a shot list out of it. And this is my shot list. I'm kind of in the way. I'm not really that in the way. Probably hard to see. But you kind of split up your locations. So we have the parking garage. I knew we would do that first. We have the driving van and the spinning van. And so I have the breakdown of the song up here. I have the camera we're using, the V-Raptor X with the Atlas Mercury, like different lenses that we had that I knew we had access to, and kind of put those in here, just kind of guessing what lens it would be on, just so camera department kind of understood how many swaps I was expecting. Oh, sorry, I just had a spin drift. It's coming back up. Disgusting. Good one, Mark. So you kind of learn, you know, what kind of lenses, what kind of shots, if you want a wider shot. This doesn't have to be perfect. I did use an app I'll show you later called Cadridge. This is so few shots. If you really take the video into Premiere, there's not a lot of shots. It's just we stay on them and we find interesting moments from each of them to make you feel like you're not exhausted by the end of the video. It feels like you can watch it again and again and again and not feel like you understand the video. So looking at this, it doesn't seem very impressive, but I think the performances from Tyler and Josh really elevated this. So this is what I have here to kind of tell people what order I'm thinking everything will go into. So here's a video I put together of the rig. So we go to a fabricator.
We will probably want to.
And he guts the whole thing. And so this is what we were dealing with.
Yeah, no kidding.
So this was our second 2007 Honda Odyssey. And it was a junker. It was literally wrecked, unsalvageable. And so we're like, that one? And then we found its brother that still drove. And so they gutted it, took everything out of it, and then we went on a location scout. So later that night, this is Cadridge I was telling you about. My camera's in the way. Cadridge, Cadrage. This app, you can load in your camera and your lenses and go to your location and take photos, right? You take photos and tells you what lens you're on. So I always knew I wanted this main 1A to be very compressed, which means you back the camera up and zoom way in. So really long lens on that. I tried 138 to see if we wanted the guys to be way back there, but it felt less personable. Beckety Becks, thank you for subscribing. So the 95 ended up looking really good. There's Nathan. Muted. Is something muted? Hold on. Can you guys hear me? I see someone say muted. Okay, we're fine. Thank you. I haven't streamed since 2021 or 22. I'll go through the highlighted messages. I'll go through and read those. Oh, okay. So the teaser. Mason's Twitch. Yeah, so that teaser, I always hate whenever
profanity.
I didn't cuss in a long time. I always love just posting a long video because the 21 Pods fans, there's nothing like them, right? They create, even if we give them a locked off shot of the guys being goofy, you know, everyone's talking about like, we haven't heard from them in so long. This is like a terrible rollout. Like Mark needs more people working for him because he isn't doing anything. All while we were doing all this, we were gutting a van, we were location scouting, we were storyboarding. Everyone's like, they don't do anything. They need more people. I get it. The band went away for a long time. It was a big break. I get it. But I wanted us to post something because of that. So you win. And so this locked off one take thing was like, hey, we're working. And what's exciting about that and what makes that work is that people started creating from it and they started editing it and making memes out of it and recreating the garage. They're speculating. They're making it in 3D. People are making it in 3D. Like it became such a, it was like such a moment for everybody. And it was the guys being themselves and promoting something themselves. And that's always a win. So I thought it was awesome, and I'm glad you guys waited. I know some people got testy and said, "Where is everything?" But thank you for waiting. I think it's worth the wait. Whenever we kind of disappear and really put our heads down, I think it's always worth coming back. So this is getting the van into the studio, having to lift it up. So the wheelbase is gone. Some 2x4s in there, or whatever those are, 2x2s, whatever they're called. Very big old pieces of wood. And so they lifted it up, and it's on a dolly track. And there was a Lazy Susan in the middle of it. So they lifted it up. And then you can see the dolly track there. So there was these dolly rigs in there that were like spaced out evenly. And it just spun on that track. Joey, thank you for gifting subs. Appreciate you. So there it was. So that's without any rigging. That's just the van on the dolly track. And then also, you know, we knew there wasn't a lot of room in there. So we had two plans. One was to spin the actual van. And one was to spin the Lazy Susan in there, the turntable. And then there's my fiance, Lindsay, spinning in the van. And we didn't do handheld. And then there's it with all the rig on it. Very cool. And it worked. So let's, now that we've seen my storyboards, treatment, I now took the music video, the final, and then synced up my storyboards with it so you can kind of see how it kind of all came together. Close.
Putting on a drum show.
I'm gonna get so muted on this VOD. I know some of you are getting confused. On the right, on your screen right, that's the final video. On the left are just my drawings. I know it's really hard to tell the difference, but the ones on the left, the ones right above me, those are my drawings.
Completed checklist for today. Now they have to let you out of your cage.
If you compare this to my previs, completely different, right?
Feeling stuck between a rock and a home.
Okay, this was a shot that we got rewarded because we shot on 2 cameras the second day. Actually, both days. So Mudhouse Films, who we got our camera from, the Reds from, they let us use the second camera. And when we were getting Josh's single coverage, this shot, we also had a second camera here that I didn't even account for, you know?
Two places you do not want to go.
And that's just part of the discovery on set, right? There's only so much you can do in pre-production.
He's putting on a drum show. Even now, even now, even now.
So, you get it. Very cool. Lastly, this step should have came before what I just showed you. But this is my timeline that I posted, and I just kind of wanted to talk about this. Very proud of this. I've been trying to teach Mason this. So Mason, the photographer Mason, he doesn't keep a tidy Premiere, and I call him out every time we share files. What? Lindsay's commenting, and she has a little bit of a lag. Are you talking about me calling out Mason? He loves when I call him out. Mason just doesn't have clean timelines, man. Today he did video 1 ONE and then video 2 TWO, and so eventually 3 gets above 2. I don't know. It's okay. He'd be okay if he knew I was talking about him. We talked about it today. I apologized for always calling him out. He goes, no, I need that. Like that. Thank you. He's a fantastic, creative, amazing photographer, but his Premiere files are garbage. But I love him. He's perfect. So a couple things you'll notice, which I know a lot of people noticed when I posted this. The song starts at the first hour. And so everything over here is like 90 seconds of pre-roll. And I think it's really important for the first hour marker to be where the track starts, the master off the album. Because when you're syncing up everything, you want your time code to be the same across everything. What's up? Oh, Lindsay's just yelling in the other room. I thought she was still defending Mason. Mason just walked in. He's pretty pissed. So all these layers are different multicams. So this blue one down here, specifically this dark blue one, is the wide shot from all the different takes. Red is Josh and blue is Tyler. Red, Josh is all of his takes of both cameras, the single and the detail, and then Tyler's single and the detail. Those are all here. And so when Tyler was sitting next to me in this room, he'd be like, I think we should go back to bass guitar on that. I could right away, I can disable these clips, I can reveal it, and I can pull it up, and it was so quick. Wait, hold on. No, red was Tyler, blue was Josh. My bad. I got that flipped. Because I always think of the Guns for Hands music video where Josh had a red shirt and Tyler had a blue shirt. But ever since Clancy, I've made Josh blue and Tyler red. Should have made him yellow, like Torchbearer yellow, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. This is just originally was a Premiere project only I saw. But, the lore is so strong that it carries on to our Premiere projects. So I would go into this sequence, which these are all different multicam sequences, and I would have the song at the 1 hour mark. The reason I have 90 seconds here is because you'll see there's some discovery happening way over here above my head. Right here. This is all like right when the cameras start rolling and everyone's getting settled. And that's how we landed on the intro of the song of Josh Debbie had just cleared frame after doing some last looks. She cleared frame and you can kind of see her shadow move across his drums, which I thought was really cool because it looked like, who could that be? So that obviously right there, Josh's clip was started there. And then we cut to Tyler bass guitar. Then we cut to his face. And then you can see the story here. And then we cut to some stuff up here. So this, like I said, parking garage. This is kind of like specials of Josh, whether it be over the shoulder or steering wheel stuff. This red is Tyler in the back of the van. This is blue, Josh driving the van. Purple, blue, whatever, purple. And then green is the spinning van, which top one's Tyler, bottom one's Josh. And then everything up here are selects. And so what I'll do is I'll watch every single take on this timeline. I'll go through and I'll watch 1A, take 1. And I'll go through and I'll watch 1A, take 2. And if there's ever anything I like, I drag it up above this locked layer and I put it there. And so as you kind of watch takes, start finding cool moments, a lot of cool moments happen during this part of the song, you'll find that you are almost done editing. You flatten the image and bring it to the top, and you'll see if you just look up here, we almost have a full music video. And what's great about that is that stop with the bottom, okay. Sorry, my fault, bad choice of words. They're both married. You know how much I hate Joshler. That's a meme. Don't take that out on me. It's a meme. It's a joke that I have at the show. I'm just like, oh, take down your sign. I hate that. You kids. I'm joking. It's fine. So whenever you bring everything up, you start to see the edits are coming together. So, and not only that, but they're the best shots, your favorite shots. Moving Sideways, thank you for using your Prime here. I appreciate you. Katie the Beat, thank you for doing 5 gifted subs. Amazing. Joey, thank you for the 2 gifted. Justin Bieber, the real Josh. The real Justin Bieber. Number 1 Joshua hater. Yeah, that's me. You got me. So, other Joshua haters. let's look at some of these highlighted messages. How much of your work with the pilots is directly from the media education? How much is based on learning? I think in 2011, that is all me using what I applied. But 2012 is all what I used from 2011. 2013 is what I used from 2011 and 2012. I quickly kind of forgot because I started in Final Cut Pro 7 and they discontinued that. So I moved to Premiere. So even that I learned in school didn't really apply. I only went to school for, only went to college for 2 years. And we always joke that my college shut down. So it doesn't exist anymore. So how good of an education could have been? I think anyone that's like, man, I can't afford college, whatever. Why can't I scroll back more? I'm trying to read more highlighted. Wonder if I can I make it to where it's only highlighted? Chat highlights. Here we go. Oh, wait, no. That's just the settings. Oops. Anyway. I will not be singing. There will be no vocals. Yeah, Benji, won't you go ahead and do that and DM me some of those highlighted questions? I cannot access them right now. That'd be really helpful. So Benji's going to send me some of these. Benji, it's also really late there, isn't it? Mocals on Anathema? No, it wasn't Anathema. It was Glowing Eyes. That da 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 da. There was like a bunch of us in that house that we shared. I was one of those. Still haven't seen my points or whatever they call it. It's the only time I've sang, and it's the only time I should have sang. Anyway, you kind of see it here, right? You see the edit coming together. And we shot on red. I know someone asked, but we shot on red because it was kind of a camera we had access to. So Nathan, my producer, who also runs Mudhouse Films, he owns those cameras, and so I love renting from him. And it's the same. It's not the same cameras. I think it's a new camera. We use his cameras for navigating, which is why navigating looks so different than the other videos. Whose idea was it to record a 20-minute video of Josh setting up? Okay, well, you must have missed that. We just talked about that. So we were away for a while, like working on stuff, and so we wanted to show something, and so I thought it was really nice to be able to give you something. And even though it wasn't like, here's more of the song, we did, my friend Kay and Andy, they recorded those, attention. I was flying back from LA from the City Walls music video shoot, and I was on the plane Wi-Fi, and I was texting, I was like, I think we need something to like hint at when this date's going to come out. And so I was like, can you just do, Kay, can you have Andy record you saying, service request on level 8, service request on level 8, 1 and 8. And it was awesome. Sounded good. He mixed that. Andy mixed that, and it was awesome. Affordable anamorphic lenses. That's just not really, I don't know. I don't think anything's really affordable that's good. You know, it sucks. But if you have like the FX3, I really like the Cooke SP3 lenses. Those are not anamorphic. They're spherical, but I still like them. Does Tyler show you these songs before you are planning for music videos, or do you have them when you're gearing up to create? Yeah, so yeah, we always have the songs really early. I think me and Brandon Reich, outside of Tyler and Josh's family, are kind of the first to hear everything. Brandon Reich, of course, designs all the merch and the album assets and the logo and the typeface and all that stuff. He's a rock star. Tyler sat with you our editing drum show. How involved are Tyler and Josh post-production? Tyler and Josh are very involved with post-production. Tyler specifically sat in my office for think it was like 4 hours the first day and 3 hours the second day, something like that, maybe 5 and 3. And sat there and I kind of did a rough cut and showed him my favorites, and then he was like, "Oh, I think we should stay there a little longer." He's really good at like seeing everything very objectively. I think I get very subjective, especially when I've been editing for, you know, like 3 full days. So he does such a really good job of putting his mindset in that of like someone that's watching it for the first time. So they're very involved, especially even like the contract. Like we got on Zoom with Fred, the director, and Tyler and Josh just gave them notes and talked about it. It's not just an email of here's a few things that I dig, here's a few things I don't. It's literally like them watching, them talking with the director. They're very much, I mean, Tyler specifically, the reason we connected in 2010 was because he was such a fan of how video worked with music. All right, I'm checking t-shirt sales. We're at 170 sales. Absolutely crazy. Last time I think we sold like 230, so we're already crushing that as far as pacing goes. Thank you. This again is a pre-order. I'll get those out in the next 2 weeks or so. Me and Lindsay are shipping them ourselves. Making sure everyone's happy. So thank you. That's incredible. I do camera operations sometimes in my second job, and last time we had Def Leppard and was told that their video director I did a great job. Nice, Katie. I thought you were more in the music scene. You're stepping it up. All right. I'll take a few more questions if you have them, but I do have a game to play. How does the process of shipping our merch look like? I get a bunch of mailers and I buy the labels and input the addresses. So I take them to USPS. So it's all, I just have to it's not drop shipping or anything. I just have to ship them myself. What's your favorite song off Breach? I'm not going to answer that. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. More lore videos? No, I think Tyler's pretty clear. I think City Walls will be the last lore music video. But happy to answer, though. How did we find Brandon? Well, Brandon was a pretty established designer. And he was like working with the label on doing some one-off stuff, and then, you know, they just connected. I mean, he's been there since the beginning now, since like pretty much. I did the vessel artwork, the photography on the cover, but then kind of halfway through that album cycle, he picked up and took the logo, made it cooler, made the merch designs, and then went on and like him and Tyler sat at a restaurant and Tyler told us about what Blurryface was supposed to be, and then Brandon just, you know, grabbed all the assets and made everything and just made it what it is. What shots did we lose during production that we liked during pre-production? I think that shot of Tyler in the backseat and Josh's rearview mirror, for sure. Is this Take On Me? But it says it's from Last of Us Part 2. I'm sure that song is in Last of Us Part 2, but that is not how people know that song. So yeah, the shot of Tyler in the mirror. And also like the spinning van, we were supposed to kind of shoot outside of it, and the driving van, I guess. Kind of that classic through the window shot. And didn't do it. The window was too tinted. How much do you listen to the song? Nonstop. Before we start the process, nonstop. I mean, I'm just constantly jamming and looping. Adam, thank you for the cheering of 300 bits. Started film school. I wanted to know when I graduate, where would I be able to apply to your company? I'm a big fan of your work. Wow, I wish I could like have a staff, but I just don't do a lot of music videos to have a staff that's full time. I usually cherry pick my crew. Nathan, the producer, cherry picks the crew. So I would just, depending on what city you're in, I would just get, start reaching out and networking with the city. If you have like production company in your city. Cleveland and Columbus are popping off, man. Not everyone, but Atlanta is kind of losing its. I don't know if I know that for real. I just think Cleveland and Columbus are gonna rise up. Did you color grade yourself? Nope. Brian Smaller. Bryan, Smaller. He color graded it. He's awesome. $178 orders. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, look at the loaf. Yeah, I was going to say Atlanta's losing some film production. I just think it's like Disney specifically shooting overseas because it's cheaper. City Walls is for real 1 million. I was there for all 5 days, so I saw every cent. I actually didn't go to Miami. Can I admit that now? I never went to Miami. That was a troll. Oh my gosh. I think some of you are going to get mad. Discord, specifically the band's Discord, they were like watching when I came online and was like, they're for sure posting now. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw a huge curveball. I'm going to take a picture of this gate that's going to Miami and be like, I'm done until tour. Sorry, everybody. It wasn't a personal dig. I was just saying, I'll show you when I get you. Fortnite stream? I don't know, man. I'm not very good at Fortnite. Is Tyler bald? I don't know. He always wears a hat around me. I never get to see his real hair. Oh, are the ads really bad? Okay, if it's an ad break, I'm going to chill. I'm not going to say anything. I hope I don't have those on very often. All right, so I do have a game to play. Oh, Lindsay wants me to show these videos. Oh, Lindsay's got more videos. Oh, this is okay. I wish I could. This is not how you do this, but this is Nadja for the first time. So that's us talking about the shot. Really hard to flatten this out. And that's her just saying, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Shooting a video?" That's me petting her for the first time. Little butt pats. She wasn't too sure. But now she lives with us. Nathan, I told him to kind of previs what it would look like on a spinning vehicle. And so this is kind of what he came up with. It's a cutout of a car on a record player. And this is what his test looked like. Oh, there it is. So that's what it was going to look like outside the van. The scale was pretty close. But we obviously didn't end up doing it that way. Here's some more in action. Pushing the van in circles. Beautiful, beautiful color. And then here, I don't want to show you this. That'll be in a behind the scenes video. Okay.